is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Carolina.
Looking for points in 5 consecutive games. Our holiday weekend continues here in the capital city. Well, the Canes have been living by this message. It starts in your own end. Strong defensive principles lead to good offense. And Brandon Sutter is centering a line right now with Patrick Dwyer and Yuri Tlusty. They are getting it done, and they are leading the way. Justin Falk, in a very limited tour of duty in the National Hockey League, has big minutes, veteran minutes, but tonight will play without his partner, but he's okay with it. He'll be paired with Tim Gleason. We'll get into that in just a bit. Welcome inside the RBC Center. Fox Sports Carolinas has all the excitement as the Canes get set for the Winnipeg Jets. And they do, because both of these teams are side by side in the Eastern Conference standings. Winnipeg and Carolina, 20 points each. The Canes give up 2 games in hand to the Jets. Montreal lost today. The Devils won, and the New York Rangers won this afternoon in Washington. Good evening, everybody. I'm John Forsland, and welcome to tonight's action here in Raleigh as the Canes get set for the Winnipeg Jets. And really, it's all about consistency when we talk about young players, and Brandon Sutter right now is really showing that game in and game out. As I bring in my partner, Trip Tracy, that's the trick for any young player. He has a great week going.
Yeah, he really does. And when we look back at the rock bottom in Montreal a week ago Wednesday, Sutter, as consistent as he is, I think got away from some of the automatic details that are always part of his game. And he has responded now with 4 straight hockey games that I think have been very, very good. And, you know, he always worries about the defensive side of the puck, but we're showing signs we have throughout the season of some real growing offensive numbers, playing with Yuri Tlusty and Patrick Dwyer. Beautiful assist on the first goal of the game as Tlusty just got it to the net. And here was the speed that really is in a league of its own to be able to get to the net. Yeah, the puck goes off his skate, but it's all about that determined body position. For a guy at such a young age, is already a seasoned veteran when it comes to playing against the other team's best.
Well, surprise today, Jay Harrison, who made it through practice yesterday, is out with an injury that stems back to Wednesday night here against Montreal, and that changes things.
Well, Jay Harrison has put together, such a good year playing in all situations. This is a big loss. This is where we think it happened, the collision with former teammate Eric Cole. He goes through practice yesterday, but now is listed as day-to-day with an upper body injury. Derek Jocelyn will come into the lineup. Joni Pitkanen has been skating, probable for Sunday. I'm really looking forward to seeing that top pairing of Justin Falk, who has been super, with the veteran Tim Gleason.
Yeah, Tim Gleason going back to his natural side on the left. Let's take a look at the Storm Tracker tonight. The Storm Tracker gives us the 3 keys to victory.
Well, it starts with the fact that Atlanta really won the only other meeting in Manitoba with their transition game. Defensemen like Bufflin are great at jumping in with their rushing play in the neutral zone. Secondly, Atlanta does not have a typical defense, and Carolina came back in that game and nearly tied it because their forecheck, which is their bread and butter, really was able to go to work in the third period in particular. And lastly, a little bit of a pun, the day after Thanksgiving, kill the turkey. I say that because Atlanta has a lot of weapons on their power play. Winnipeg has a lot of weapons on their power play. I'm sorry for that. A little turkey hangover. They worked on the power play in Winnipeg in practice, so the kill will have to be sharp.
All right, well, the last time we were in Winnipeg, the Jets had the better end of it. A couple of power play goals early, en route to a 5-3 win. Tonight, payback is on the line. Carolina, Winnipeg. The opening face-off is next. By Rex Healthcare, chosen for trust that you and yours have had a marvelous Thanksgiving. As you take a look at the RBC Center, we are set for action. 70th all-time meeting between these two teams. The Storm squad is good to go, and so is Chris Mason in goal for the Winnipeg Jets. Their team defense is number 27. He has not played since October the 27th when he pulled his groin in Philadelphia, spelling Andre Pavlik, who has started the last 13 games. Cam Ward, 31 saves and a 4-3 shootout loss here against Montreal on Wednesday night. Carolina's team defense is number 25. The officials tonight, Gislan Hebert, Rob Martel are the referees. Steve Barton, Matt McPherson on the line. Sit back and enjoy this one. Carolina starts with a forward line of Eric Staal, Jeff Skinner and Tuomo Ruutu, Derek Joslin and Tomas Kaberle on defense. Joslin now will lug it ahead through the center zone, playing in the place of the injured Jay Harrison. It goes off a stick, and it comes all the way back in the Winnipeg zone. Play is whistled dead at the line. It was offside, and 20 seconds in. Rex Healthcare, injuries and scratches.
Well, for Carolina, we just spoke of Jay Harrison suffering that injury. We believe a hit with Eric Cole against Montreal Wednesday. Yoni Pitkin, probable for Sunday against Ottawa. And you look at the Atlanta... Well, again, my gosh. No, that by my count, that's 4 or 5.
Okay.
Winnipeg scratches. Ron Hainsey came back from missing 17 games. He's back on the shelf as his defenseman, Tobias Enstrom. I just can't get used to the fact that this is Winnipeg, not Atlanta.
Well, we're going to have to get our graphics coordinator, Brian Morris, to get that tote board in order we had in Winnipeg. There it is, folks. And God help us, I hope I keep the 0, the goose egg, on the scoreboard. I just put the hex on myself. Now Ruutu goes deep. It's not easy. Skinner out of the corner off a skate off Jimmy Slater. Loosened back of the goal. The Jets go after it. Ruutu closes the gap for Carolina. Top of your screen, Jeff Skinner. Wedged by Jim Slater. Eric Staal goes to work away from Johnny Oduya. Now Tuomo Ruutu is wedged by Zach Bogosian. Ruutu grinding hard along the wall. Staal moves in. Ruutu is knocked down, and Zach Bogosian will take a seat.
Well, one of our storm tracking game keys is, of course, the forecheck, and Carolina, in the first minute of this hockey game, does a great job of getting right to work, and Bogosian will take the first one.
Winnipeg number 4, minor penalty interference.
We spoke in our pregame show that Zach Bogosian, a former top 5 overall pick with Atlanta, was involved in a hit with Cody Eakin and had a hearing with Brendan Shanahan with the league yesterday. Was not suspended. The puck was not there, so that's interference.
Carolina to the power play. Kaberle holding onto it. His shot tipped high by Ponikarovsky. Dustin Byfuglien tries to clear. Now Kaberle moving it off for Chad LaRose. LaRose dancing away from Mark Stewart. To the corner it goes. Settled down by Jussi Jokinen off the stick of Chad LaRose. Mark Stewart after it for Winnipeg, and now it's played again by Chad LaRose. Kaberle point to point. Here's McBain right back for 51. Kaberle holding onto it, a lane for Jokinen through the middle, wedged by McBain off of Mark Flood. Loose this way again. Jokinen takes over off a stick, off Stewart, and the Jets now out to center ice. Here's Brian Little to the outside with a shot, lancing wide of Cam Ward, and it goes out of play.
Well, Paul Maurice starts with his second power play unit, which has really been his first power play unit over the last couple of games, and Jussi Jokinen wins a faceoff, leads to a good look as Thomas Kaberle went for the redirection from Ponikarovsky in front. Both teams, starting with Paul Maurice's crew, had very good practices yesterday on the holiday.
To the point now for Byfuglien. Shorthanded chance stopped by Ward. Antropov with a bid off of Justin Falk. And the Jets now get to it again out of the corner. They grind along. It's broken up here by Eric Staal. And the guys in red now dance out to center ice. You're looking at Jeff Skinner off of Dustin Byfuglien, played here by Alexander Burmistrov, and now he'll go deep as he feeds it all the way back in the Kane zone. He's been in a bit of a doghouse situation of late with Winnipeg coach Claude Noel. Now Eric Staal to the outside of Johnny Oduya off his stick. Staal goes after it, stays with it, back to the point, Joslin. Joslin holding onto it, looking wide as Falk. A give back for Joslin. His shot denied by Mason. Loose to the corner. Oduya tries to clear, not out. Held in by Justin Falk. Off a stick, turning his route to. Back for Justin Falk again. Off the wall, Joslin. He'll keep it deep. In back of the goal, Dustin Byfuglien cuts it off for Winnipeg. Played again by Staal. Nice pass for Falk. His shot blocked in front. The rebound sent wide. Right out in front, Tuomo Ruutu. Now Skinner through the middle. Fancy Dan for Staal. It goes wide. Beautiful setup by Skinner. Now along the boards, Tuomo Ruutu. The pass detected by Oduya and cleared out by Nick Antropov.
As Bogosian is set to come out of the box, this could be a power play that, even though it doesn't score, generates all sorts of positive momentum. Stahl, great job coming up with that puck along the boards, getting it to Falk, and then the follow-up chance.
Erie Toulouse over the line with a shot taken wide of Chris Mason. Carolina with 2 shots. 2 scoring chances with the power play. Blake Wheeler centers one. Evander Kane in back of Cam Ward. Kane dangling using the back of the goal. Brian Little to the outside of the point now. Archer's Kulda away from Mark Flood, off a stick, off of Evander Kane, located by Winnipeg's Brian Little. Kulda from the point of wrister, body down by Cam Ward, loose at the side of the goal as we see. Gleason tries to clear. Kulda with a pinch, broken up here by Gleason, and the Canes will settle it down.
And you know Kulda doing it there after watching the Montreal game. If you're Winnipeg, they're just going to try to get shots through from the point, looking for tips as the Canadians did.
Mark Flood goes off on a change. He spent 3 seasons in the Carolina organization, 06 to 09 in Albany. Now it goes deep. Top of your screen, Chris Thorburn back to the point. Mark Stewart off a stick, off Anthony Stewart. Now out of the corner, Tim Stapleton goes down for Winnipeg. And it's played here by Thomas Caberlet, who threads it off, sets up Derek Jocelyn, and away we go. Anthony Stewart off the skates of Mark Stewart. Played this way by Dustin Buckland. He leads all defensemen in terms of shots in the NHL as the Jets clear it in the penalty box along the near side, the Kane penalty box, and we get a stoppage.
The referees will confer and see if this puck hit anything and if it could be a second Carolina power play. Eric Stahl on that first Carolina power play did a lot of good things. In the second
Winnipeg number 17, delay game.
And the guilty party is former Washington Capital and Manitoba native Eric Fair, who has just recently come back from off-season shoulder surgery, and you can see the frustration written all over his face. Well, Thomas Caberlet actually draws that in a lot of ways with an aggressive pitch to make Fair make a decision.
Carolina 27th with their power play. They are 29th at home. Winnipeg is 18th and 21st on the road. Carolina 3 out of 22 in the last 5 of the power play. And the Jets have killed off 24 of 26. In the same time period, Eric Stahl goes to work off the side of the goal. Nobody home out in front, cleared out by Jet captain Andrew Ladd, and it comes all the way down to Cam Ward. Just about 5 minutes gone in this first period. John Forsland, Trick Tracy, Bob Harwood, along with our great crew here at the RBC Center. Eric Stahl over the line, moving up. Top of your screen, it's Jeff Skinner. Canes leading scorer for Tuomo Ruutu, off a body, it trickles in, and it's played by Jimmy Slater. Slater now will clear it through the center zone, all the way back, killing time, and the Canes are down to 112 with the power play. As you see Thomas Caberlet walk it out through the middle of the ice, away from Tanner Glass, over the line he's in, moving up on Johnny Oduya. Now played again by Jussi Jokinen. His shot, body down by Mason, cleared at the defense, but not out. Played ahead by Justin Falk. Out of the reach of Oduya, played again by Caberlet. In a stick battle with Oduya. Now at the point, the Canes settle it down. Here's Justin Falk. A wrister, good stop by Mason with traffic out in front. Caberlet out of the corner, holding onto it. Up top again, they wind it along. Jussi Jokinen, Thomas Caberlet. Inside it goes Ponikarovsky. Off the body, off Mark Flood. Loose in back of the goal, now they scrum again. Now it's free at the point. Justin Falk inside the line. Top of the ring, Caberlet. A wrister off a skate. Here's Jokinen. He'll find the handle. Right the ship. The pass out of the reach of Falk. And it comes all the way back.
There's no question this unit for Carolina on the power play is very confident right now. A couple of good chances. Jokinen took that puck off the skate, got it to the net, and then Justin Falk gets it through for a good tip chance.
Falk now will dump it in. 5 seconds left in the power play. To the point it goes. Cradled along, that time offside by Brian Allen. We get a stoppage, only 1 second left in terms of this power play.
Well, it was that unit that played the first half of the first Carolina power play and the second half of this second power play that has been really sharp. We'll take a look at Jokinen's play first. He actually, it's tough to tell there, but took this puck off the skate, and Mason, who hasn't played, as you said, since October 27th, looked like he fought that a bit. There's the tip chance from Ponikarovsky. Ponikarovsky, his hands seem to be good right now, and he's getting to the front of the net.
Boy, Mason played well in Winnipeg. Third weekend in October in relief of Andre Pavlik. He shut the door in the Carolina Hurricanes, who attempted a comeback after they fell behind in that game, but The Canes were digging out, and it was all about Mason.
In the third period, remember when Carolina had that long 5-on-3? He made a couple of great saves on Stahl, close in.
Here's Brian Little with a shot off the stick of Cam Ward, and it goes out of play. 13:03 left to go in the first period. Chris Mason on the spot tonight, shuts down the juice. We're scoreless early.
We're scoreless in the early going. As you realize through Hurricanes Live, our pregame show, we talked to a player like Patrick Dwyer and get a bit of a scouting report from the opposition. His main point had to do with Winnipeg forwards and their speed, their ability to get the puck and go. Brian Little has delivered on exactly that, fellas. Shorthanded, and then 5-on-5 at the end of that penalty kill. He got the puck at his own blue line. Within 3 seconds, it was on Cam Ward. There's a threat there from one of the little guys in the NHL.
A little guy that started slow, like a lot of guys did when a team changes cities, changes countries, but Little started to give them the scoring spark that they need.
He has only 10 points in 21 games. Shot taken wide of Cam Ward, taken by Andrew Ladd, but Tripp, you're absolutely right. It was a slow start. Better now. Here's LaRose. Great sweep check. Johnny Oduya on him. And it's loose now this way for UC Jokinen. Back to the point. Tim Gleason pokes it ahead. Alex Ponikarovsky along the wall for Carolina. Chad LaRose separated from the puck nicely by Nick Antropov. And Zach Bogosian takes over down deep. He's been their best defenseman. Now it's Antropov through the middle. On the wing, Ladd. Ladd inside for big number 80, former Maple Leaf and teammate of Alex Ponikarovsky. Nick Antropov. Mark Flood walks in. Centers one across. Out of the reach of two Jet players, Kyle Wellwood and Andrew Ladd. In the center zone now. Brian Little over skates. Carried ahead by the Hurricanes' Anthony Stewart. Now it goes deep, played again by Mark Flood to the point. Brian Allen shot off the blocker of Mason, loose and back of the goal. Hunted down by Evander Kane. Flood now for Arturs Kulda. Kulda now, who played last season with Chicago of the American Hockey League, can't clear. Goes off Kulda, loose again. Evander Kane ahead of Anthony Stewart, back out to center ice.
Remember, Stewart played with this franchise last year, so this is a statement game for him. They didn't qualify him. That's how he ends up as a free agent with Carolina. So, you know, you want to make a real point when you play against a club like this.
Evander Kane with a rolling puck. Up top, Brian Little with a bid goes wide of Cam Ward, who had the angle, and it deflects out of play.
I think UC Jokinen has had a very good start to this hockey game, and he made a backhand pass right here across the ice. Ponikarovsky just drops it for him. I mean, that had a ton of zip. And Johnny Oduya, who, like a lot of guys on this Winnipeg team, has gotten better as the season has gone along, makes a heck of a sweeping, diving poke check. You know, Oduya learned very early, when you have a tough night in Atlanta, it flies under the radar. When you have a tough night and you turn the puck over in Winnipeg, it's all over multiple newspapers.
Boy, they're getting used to it. Bufflin with a shot. I mean, this is a team that's, you know, somewhat in the mix. I mean, everybody's in the mix in the Eastern Conference, and they were graded an F by the local press already. Now it's loose out of the circle, and up top it goes, and the Jets wind it back.
Well, that's playing in Canada for you.
Sometimes it was hard to find the report card in Atlanta. Now it's loose along the boards. Lucy now out to center ice. Played ahead by Patrick Dwyer. It goes all the way back. He was drafted by the Atlanta Thrashers in 06. Out of the corner now, Bufflin ahead for Burmistrov. They'll sort it out. 10:42 left to go, period one. Through the center zone, the Jets on the attack. Slater goes after it, canceled by Caberlet. And here come the Hurricanes. Over the line, Brandon Sutter. His shot picked off by Chris Mason, and no further play.
Claude Noel has coached at every level. He has been an interim coach in the NHL. This is his first permanent head coaching job. And, you know, he says that his team, as a group of individuals, have become more confident in their last stretch of games, and that is shown in their team play. They rattled off 3 home wins before embarking for this road trip that began with a point in Washington Wednesday.
He coached the Manitoba Moose in the American Hockey League last season. The ownership group that has this franchise had them. He won a Calder Cup with Milwaukee about 5 years earlier. Antropov in back of the goal. Gleason is hard pressed. Kyle Wellwood's been red hot of late. On this line with Nick Antropov and Andrew Ladd. Play will continue. Good job by Eric Stahl coming back. And the Canes attempt to get it out to neutral ice. They do. Here comes Skinner. Jeff Skinner over the line. Back pressure from Antropov. It goes deep for Tuomo Ruutu. He's fronted by Johnny Oduya. They go to the corner. Eric Stahl grinding along the wall, fanning on a pass, getting it back. Off the stick of Ruutu. Now Skinner back to the point. One-timer tipped right on. Block turning Ruutu. Off the side of the goal. Stahl centers one out in front. Now to the point. Falk. A pinch. It's a 2-on-1. Andrew Ladd holding on to it for Winnipeg. Walking in, he sets up a man. It's broken up by Gleason. Attempting that pass on a slow developing 2-on-1 with Kyle Wellwood.
Well, Gleason actually pointed to Skinner, who was the first forward back, to go to the different guy that he went to. So Gleason actually, I think, did a fine job of recovering with his stick.
Mark Flood clears it in for Winnipeg. Out of the corner now, McBain. Off a stick, Tim Stapleton cut it off. Here's Eric Fair. Down the wall he goes. To the corner now, they do battle. It's loose. Turning back with it, Ponikarovsky setting up Brian Allen, pinned on the forecheck by Thorburn. Chris Thorburn out in front. Cam Ward says no twice. Oh, a couple of beauties. And set up alone in front was Eric Fair. 8:54 left to go in this first period. Jussi Jokinen moving it back now for Jamie McBain. Through center ice, Chad LaRose gets it deep.
I think that this energetic start for both teams is a complete product of the fact that everybody was on the ice yesterday. Nobody took the day off in preparation for tonight's game.
No turkey lag. Now Wheeler. Bufflin over the line. Going wide. Moving in on Caberlet right out in front. It's loose now to the wall. Played again by Blake Wheeler. Tipped right on, and Ward said no. Oh, a good tip out in front by Brian Little. Little has the puck. Holding onto it to the outskirts. Bufflin. A wrister pass out in front. Good stop by Ward. A couple of doorstep bang-ins by Kane and Wheeler. This is Blake Wheeler on a cycle. Wheeler holding onto it. He'll leave it there for Kane. He's pinned along the boards by Caberlet. They try and fish it out to the Canes, but grinding well is Brian Little. A pinch by Mark Stewart. A loose puck gathered in by Wheeler, stolen by Brett Sutter, and away they go.
Well, Carolina's fourth line gets hemmed in, and you could see that Winnipeg was licking their chops with the matchup. So far, I think both coaches have chosen flow over matching lines in the early going.
Oh, I love flow. It comes all the way back now. Gleason hit on the play by Jimmy Slater. In back of the goal now. Justin Falk, Tanner Glass, played last season in Vancouver. It's loose. Yuri Tlusty hit hard. Bogosian with a shot. Loose out in front. Burmistrov goes high over the top of Cam Ward. Now Burmistrov overskates that one. Gleason after it for Carolina. He's hit by Glass, and the Canes get it back out to center.
Burmistrov, who played a season low in minutes against Washington, I thought his practice was especially good. You like to see that from a young player, that he doesn't feel sorry for himself. He just had a golden chance.
Lusty now will go cross corner. Johnny Oduya is back on it. 13 minutes have been played in a very exciting first period. Nick Antropov through the middle to the outside. Ladd, his shot blocked by McBain. Punched out by Carolina. Mark Stewart, the former Boston Bruin, clears it in. Cam Ward leaves it there and puts it on a tee for Jamie McBain.
Mark Recchi, who played with Stewart in Boston, said he was just a great teammate.
Well, they say that Mark Stewart has been personally responsible for bringing Zach Bogosian along this season. Earlier this season, they were paired together, and they say that he's done a great job. Andrew Ladd hit by Brian Allen. Moving up in the neutral zone to make that hit. The Canes now recoil. Sloppy pass picked off by Thorburn. Carolina circles back, and here they come out to the center zone. Tuomo Ruutu cutting the ice in half. Dustin Bufflin on him. Jeff Skinner pestered on the play. Skinner stays with it, gets it deep, rolling it in on Chris Mason as the Jets are back to fetch.
And Fair with a follow-up hit on Skinner, and Skinner comes back at Fair. Boy, that's great to see.
Well, this is good stuff. Excellent physical play here in the first period. 5:56 left to go in period one. The Caniac Nation, they love it. The holiday season is underway, and this is how you're supposed to behave during the holidays. Trust me. We are scoreless. Winnipeg and Carolina with a divisional matchup tonight. Well, our tape room has been hard at work during the break. We'll start with a chance by Brian Little, stopped by Cam Ward.
Well, a couple of redirections, and Cam Ward on this one makes a good low save. Evander Kane. And here's the hit. A good one from Fair on Skinner. The puck is there, and Jeff Skinner Didn't like that. Tough for me to tell from that vantage point where the puck is. It's a great start here. You can see with the geographical difference the rivalry that exists in this divisional matchup.
I think it's enhanced because of the distance now. That won't be a trend moving forward, trust me. You won't see Los Angeles and Boston in the same division as we move along. Now it comes all the way back. Chris Mason now moves it. As a matter of fact, Winnipeg next season will definitely be in the Western Conference. Now turning. LaRose turned out easily by Chris Mason. 5:25 left to go, period one. Shots are 9-6 Winnipeg. Here's LaRose dancing, broken up by Evander Kane. Evander Kane a 2-on-1 with Blake Wheeler. Kane walks in and scores! Evander Kane picks a corner. Winnipeg with a 1-0 lead.
Well, the Canes have a lot of spark, but you can't, because of that, make bad reads. And unfortunately, Jamie McBain pinched here without a high forward. And Evander Kane, a Western Hockey League product. Watch the left side of your screen. See, all three forwards are below the tops of the circle, so if he gets caught, he's in big, big trouble. There's nobody to fill the lane. And the defenseman, Brian Allen, does a good job of denying the pass and then trying to deny the shot. And it takes a perfect offering on Kane's part to beat Cam Ward off the post and in.
7th overall pick in 09. Evander Kane is 20 years of age out of Vancouver. 14 points in 20 coming in. He registers his 9th goal of the season. And the Jets have a 1-0 lead on that pinpoint shot. Off the goal post and in by Evander Kane. Now it goes by Jeff Skinner. Chris Mason leaves it for Mark Stewart. Eric Stahl with a steal. Centering one, nobody home. A blind pass. And now off the boards, Rutu's after it, punched out by Mark Stewart. The Jets now go to work again. Tanner Glass shot goes wide. Unassisted goal by Evander Kane at 14:46. Derek Joslin, indirect pass. Eric Stahl with Teromo Rutu. Stahl, his pass detected by Stewart. It rolls wide. Rutu now digs it out. Teromo Rutu looking for Eric Stahl. In a stick battle here with Dustin Bufflin, who tries to clear. Vermistrov chops it back out to neutral ice.
Jocelyn back in the lineup, I think, has played a good first period here. Paul Maurice told him this morning, I want you to be noticed. And I think he's been noticeable.
Now off the wall, Eric Fair whips it across. Chris Thorburn to the outside of Justin Falk, who plays it well. Tim Stapleton checked by Tim Gleason. Brandon Sutter is back, a steal by Stapleton. Stapleton back to the point, Goulda with a bid. Cam Ward got a piece of it, and so I believe did Thorburn out in front. And the mask is off once again. Cam Ward losing his mask. We get a stoppage. There's your goal scorer. A blistering shot by Evander Kane. 1-0 Winnipeg.
Back here at the RBC, a nice hot stove with our Bob Harwood and Jeff Skinner's dad, Andy, who's in town for the dad's trip. And our Geico quote tells us this: as excited as I am to be here for the weekend, I have learned to give Jeff his time and space following a tough loss. And this is in reference to the game against Montreal on Wednesday night. And I think that is very telling in a super way about a player taking the game home with him in the right way.
Mark Flood. We'll touch on that more in a second. Now back of the goal. Andrew Ladd out in front. Great stop by Cam Ward. Kyle Wellwood on the spot. Antropov for Goulda. Archer's Goulda now goes deep. Out of the reach of Andrew Ladd this way. Mark Flood. His wrister blocked. And the pass detected by Antropov on the way through. Otherwise, Yuri Talusti was off to the races. Now it's played by Justin Falk. Tim Gleason, a quick up intended for Patrick Dwyer. Comes all the way back. Goulda's on the touch. Icing is called.
Boy, Winnipeg got a lot of life from those two successful Carolina kills. Their forecheck has gone to work. The game key of limiting odd man rushes. They scored the goal. Evander Kane did it on an outnumbered chance, a 2-on-1 that was created by Kane.
Shots 13-7 Winnipeg. This is the dad's weekend. Players' fathers will be accompanying the players to Ottawa tomorrow. They will room with their sons or brothers or family members, as it is. Players and staff off to Canada's capital for the game 5 o'clock on Sunday night. We'll start with Hurricanes live at 4:30 And we'll have all kinds of that pageantry involving the Hurricanes and their dads from Ottawa.
And you mentioned brothers. Of course, Brent Sutter, the coach of the Calgary Flames. Jay Feaster, the GM, doesn't let him attend, so it's his brother Merrick.
Bogosian shot handled by Cam Ward. But it has a bit of a youth hockey feel when the dads come along. Even though these are grown men, it's still a kid's game, and they're big kids at times.
Well, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed it over the years when the dads come, and you hope you'll get a spark that the boys will play that much harder to try to get the good result.
Or else. Wheeler with a shot blocked in front. Bufflin goes after it. He attempts to sidestep Brian Allen. He was knocked down. Here's Ponikarovsky. This way for Chad LaRose. LaRose pulls up, shoots one off the body, off Mark Stewart, who plays it off the glass, and it skips out of play.
Dustin Bufflin, I think, just caught a stick as he was, can you imagine, pitching deep into the Carolina end as a defenseman. And you see him go down. Good collision with Brian Allen. Obviously, Bufflin doesn't wear a half shield, and I'm sure a lot of people at home are saying, would he be cut if he wore a shield?
You talk about having fun. He has fun playing this game. Skinner holding onto it. His shot goes wide of Mason. To the corner now. Burmistrov comes down. Alexander Burmistrov, who was drafted one slot in back of Jeff Skinner in 2010. Slater hands it off. Tanner Glass now through the middle. Will scale it by Derek Jocelyn. He'll go after it. Tanner Glass is wrapped up by Thomas Caberlet. Played again by Slater. Jimmy Slater goes inside for Tanner Glass. Kicked by Caberlet off for Stahl. And Carolina wheels it back out to center ice. Here's Tuomo Ruutu. Over the line, crisscrossing. Pickpocketed by Burmistrov. And away go the Jets. Burmistrov cutting their offside. He thinks twice. And Bogosian takes over.
That is what is impressive about the player that was drafted right after Skinner. He's a really good young defensive player. Did you see that tenacity on the puck?
Great skater. Wellwood. Kyle Wellwood pulls up back to the point. Oduya, it's tipped wide. The big tip out in front. Nick Antropov. Antropov seals off Brett Sutter. Mark Flood tries to wrist it ahead for Winnipeg. And now Tim Brent along the boards. Goes deep. Anthony Stewart out in front, mopped up by Mark Flood. Flood now spins off a hit from Sutter. Out of the corner, Anthony Stewart. And a scrum here along with Kyle Wellwood. Two number 13s. Wellwood tries to go up the wall with it. Down the boards for Carolina. Stewart utilizing his big frame. Now Anthony Stewart inside on a cycle for Brett Sutter. Sutter turns off a stick. It's loose. Gleason with a shot blocked in front by Mark Flood. And in control is Johnny Oduya, who gets it out.
And looking back at it, by the way, it was Bufflin's own stick that caught him, and I agree with you. Just a super guy that plays the game for all the right reasons, the Minnesota native.
Through the legs of Brian Little went that puck. Now it comes all the way back. Cam Ward out to play it. McBain plays it off for Patrick Dwyer. The Hurricanes out to center ice. Now Brandon Sutter with a bouncing puck. He's shouldered by Zach Bogosian. 6 seconds left in the period. In back of the goal, Brian Little in control for Winnipeg. Out they come. Evander Kane now will get it deep at the horn, and that'll do it. Papa John's is cheering on the Canes to victory, and the Caniacs are the real winners. With a win tonight, all Caniacs receive 50% off their menu-priced online orders tomorrow at participating restaurants at papajohns.com. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. The shots in the period, Winnipeg at 14, Carolina with 7. When we come back, Bob Harwood will kick off the RBC Bank first intermission. The Jets won, the Canes no score. It's been physical. Evander Kane with that goal, and the Jets with a 1-goal lead.
After 20 minutes, it's the RBC Bank intermission report. The Canes trail Winnipeg 1-0. And Jeff Skinner's our CarQuest Auto Parts intermission interview. Jeff, you showed some speed as a team, obviously in one direction early in the period, but Winnipeg's thrown it back in your direction. What are your concerns about transition right now?
Yeah, we can't let them get those opportunities. I think obviously they're a team with a lot of speed, and they can hurt you off the rush. So we just got to tighten it up and be a little bit faster on the forecheck and hopefully hand them in their end for a couple shifts and maybe create something off that.
When things got physical at and near center ice between yourself and Eric Fair, who plays a bigger game, bigger body, he knocked you down and you got back up and you hit him again. And I noticed that you took a second to think about it. Am I going to do this? It was a hockey play. Was it any kind of statement about myself having to push back from time to time as well?
Yeah, I think sometimes, yeah. Obviously, I was waiting there, I think, to see if make sure he had the puck. And then, yeah, just trying to finish my check. I think you got to do that once in a while, especially if you're going to be playing that type of game.
Are there things about the power play that, albeit didn't score, that you're feeling better about, especially in the early going?
Yeah, I think we created some momentum off them. Obviously, we got some good shots on net. Their goalie made a good save on one of those, and we just got to stick with it. I think we can't really come off it. I think we were doing things fast, getting pucks in net, and that's what we're trying to do.
Jeff, thanks a lot.
Thanks.
20 minutes into the books, and the Canes trail 1-0 to the Winnipeg Jets. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of the numbers of how we've gotten here so far, and much more from RBC Center.
RBC Center, John and Tripp back with you. Time for first period highlights. We'll take a look at the goals scored by Winnipeg's Evander Kane.
I think that Winnipeg got a lot of life from surviving the two early Carolina power plays, and Kane, great speed, has the shooting lane because it was a 2-on-1 and Allen played it as such. Just a perfect shot. Shows his first round skill.
He has all of that. A budding star. Evander Kane, goal number 9, unassisted, 14:46. Now, Tripp, go to work with a little telestration.
Well, we're just going to take a look with Winnipeg's speed about a couple of things that Carolina is going to need to do and make adjustments. So, you stop it right here, and you see Jokinen, but you also see Ponikarovsky. You'd like to see a reload here, and you don't want to see that pinch from McBain because you don't have a high forward. Now, secondly, at this point right here, you need communication between the forwards and the defense to figure out which guy you're going to go to, because then you can maybe, if you get back with real determination, make this a 2-on-2. And to me, as I look at the following two periods of this game, even when you're feeling it, as I think that Carolina line was there, you have to, no matter what, always make sure you have a high man to be in good position defensively.
They added an assist on the goal. It was unassisted, as we saw just now. Johnny Oduya gets a helper on the goal scored by Evander Kane. As we start the second period at even strength, John Forsland, Tripp Tracy, Bob Harwood, along with our great crew. Thanksgiving weekend. Canes are in Ottawa Sunday night. 4:30, Hurricanes Live gets you started from Canada's capital. Canes and Sens on the Dad's Weekend for Carolina. Along the wall now, Johnny Oduya for Winnipeg goes deep. Thomas Caberlet in the skates of Jeff Skinner, bottled up by Jimmy Slater. To the point, Zach Bogosian. Going wide, Johnny Oduya. In the slot, turning Slater, tipped wide by Tanner Glass out in front. Now Jeff Skinner has it for the Canes, and out they come. Oduya punches ahead. Winnipeg coming off a 4-3 overtime loss in Washington on Wednesday night as they hit the road for 3. They're in Boston tomorrow night. The Canes coming off a shootout loss here on Wednesday against Montreal, who was defeated by Philadelphia today. Now, Andrew Ladd leaves it there. The Jets coming back in their own zone. Antropov with a sloppy pass picked off by Yuri Talusti. Off a body, second chance, off the outside of the goalpost. Yuri Talusti buzzes in for Carolina.
Well, because of a good, I think, line support forecheck, that's a turnover that you would have liked to have hoped would at least result in a good shot on goal. I think Winnipeg reacted well to it because it was a 3-on-1.
Out to center ice. Patrick Dwyer over the line and in. Holding up for a shot wide of Chris Mason. Fielded this way by Kyle Wellwood. Out to center ice. Antropov for Winnipeg. Sets up Andrew Ladd. Ladd over the line. The trailer Kulda. His shot off the stick of Cam Ward. Archer's Kulda fires one to an open corner. Off the bench, punching it deep, Brian Little. Here's Andrew Ladd, the Jet captain, away from Justin Falk. Played at the line. Kulda again off a body. Off Dwyer, it goes deep. Gleason with his head on a swivel. Closing the gap was Andrew Ladd. Along the dasher, knocking it down, Brian Little. Getting away from Jussi Jokinen. Little holding on to it inside of Evander Kane. Kane with a pass this way for Blake Wheeler. Wheeler turns it off a stick off Dwyer. Gained by Carolina's Yuri Talusti. He'll attempt to move it deep as the puck deflects off Mark Flood and goes in the Kane bench.
Let's look at this Antropov turnover that leads to a good Carolina chance. Just throwing the puck when you really don't know to the middle of the ice. And You know, I think what Yuri would like to do here is just, I'll tell you, Stewart did a great job. But not hesitate with two guys driving the net, and Sutter and Dwyer. Just bury his head, shoot for the far side, and see what happens. But Mark Stewart, really a fine job there, denying the pass, but then blocking the shot.
Mark Stewart was a first-round pick for the Boston Bruins. Had some injury problems early on, some concussion issues. Now they storm into the Jets. Good save by Cam Ward, and the shot taken by Blake Wheeler. Another save. That one from Johnny Oduya. It's gulped by Brian Allen. You see it come all the way back. And the former Devil involved in the Ilya Kovalchuk trade, Oduya has it.
That's the exact type of shot I'm talking about. You know, where you shoot to the far side. If you don't score, it's tough for a goalie to control the rebound. A lot of times it gets kicked right into the slot.
Tim Brent. Breakout pass. Brent Sutter. Sutter had an assist against Montreal here Wednesday. Brett Sutter back to the point. Jamie McBain looking for a tip, none available. Thorburn has it. Chris Thorburn will clear it all the way back. McBain is on his horse. It makes the icing line, so the call is made.
Well, you mentioned Oduya played with the New Jersey Devils, so that means he played with Marty Brodeur. And this is what people always talk about with Brodeur, is shoot from wide angles and work his feet. It's pretty much impossible for Cam Ward to do anything but kick that puck back into the slot. Well, he made some good saves in the first period. Really in the I'd say the second half, when Winnipeg gained momentum from those early kills.
Paul Maurice did say yesterday that Brian Boucher is likely to play one of the next three, including this game, so we could see him either in Ottawa or maybe next week.
Well, there's no reason that the team should not have complete confidence in the veteran Boucher when you look at his relief appearances against Dallas, Philadelphia, and then just giving up one goal against Buffalo.
Onakarovsky wide of Chris Mason. Off of support, it comes deep. Dustin Byfuglien played in the All-Star game a season ago right here. Jokinen, a pass back to the point, played by Derek Joslin, cutting. Joslin now thinks about it, wristing one off a body, loose out in front. Byfuglien paired with Mark Stewart on defense. Options off for Alexander Burmistrov. Burmistrov goes wide of Joslin. Loses his edge. The Kane defenseman has it, and here they come. Joslin now will feed it all the way down to Chris Mason. Onakarovsky off the body. Zach Bogosian off the skate of Burmistrov, and the Jets have it.
Jocelyn, I said it once in the first period, I thought he had a good period. He had a conversation with Paul Maurice this morning, whether it be being physical, he can make that first pass, that he do something to be noticeable so he doesn't come out of the lineup. I think he did it in the opening 20 minutes.
Stahl's pass intended for Skinner doesn't work. Stahl, Skinner, and Ruutu for Carolina. Burmistrov in the center zone, shadowed by Skinner. Off the boards, Oduya. Oduya throws on the brakes, lays it out in front. Negated here at the defense by Tim Gleason. Back ahead for the captain. Here comes Stahl. Eric Stahl stops, throws it across, and a good read that time by Johnny Oduya. Here come the Jets out to center ice. Kyle Wellwood lays it off, looking for Mark Stewart. Broken up by Jamie McBain. Ruutu in the skates of Stahl in the center zone. Getting to it now, Dustin Byfuglien back in his own end. Tanner Glass feeds it this way for Byfuglien. Conley on the wing for Jimmy Slater. And the Michigan native out to center ice. McBain, good pass. Here's Dwyer. They're onside. His shot blocked. Stop made by Mason. Now Dwyer gets to it. Nope, it will go deep, and getting control here is Brandon Sutter. Sutter holding onto it back to the point. Brian Allen, he'll feed it deep. Byfuglien is there for Winnipeg, and now good hustle again by Patrick Dwyer. What else is new? Now loose back to the point. Here's McBain. The pass goes by Brandon Sutter, slammed ahead by Jimmy Slater, back out to center ice.
Real good line change there. Stahl getting off and Sutter coming on in the second period.
Here's Talusti pulling up. Shot. Scores! Gary Talusti! He came close. Now he cashes in. We're tied.
Boy, both goals have been just perfect shots, haven't they? Anytime you hear that ping off the pipe and in, you know that it's a good shot. And I thought Talusti had a subtle little move that shows his first-round skill, like Kane in the first period, of delaying. Look here. See that little... Actually, I don't know if it was intentional. The puck slid off of his tape. But I still think he intended on being patient with the puck. Not sure if Mason had trouble tracking it as the defenseman was screening him. A lot of credit to McBain, who made the credit on the first goal. made the mistake on the first goal of getting that puck up very quickly to gain the line.
Yuri Tlusty, goal number 4. Brandon Sutter, Jamie McBain. The puck is iced. Will swing it back in the Winnipeg zone. So the line we talked about during Hurricanes Live and at the top of the show, centered by Brandon Sutter. And the finishing play from Yuri Tlusty. Here's another look.
You see Tom Barrasso conferring with this line that's just tied the game, and you can see Anthony Stort's pretty excited about it. Boy, you can just, that's a good look from the truck. As Sutter is gaining the line, Tlusty wants to make sure that he stays on sides, but simultaneously accumulate as much speed as possible.
Now the puck comes all the way back. A great look at ice level. Eric Fair off the skate. Antropov is lurking. Fair a one-timer wide of Ward. Down the wall, Kulda. He'll chop it ahead for Andrew Ladd. Jussi Jokinen helping out the defense for Carolina. Alexei Polikarovsky spinning around. The puck is loose. Jokinen throws it this way for Justin Falk. Falk at the Winnipeg line with a shot blocked by Arturs Kulda. They go to the corner. It's loose. You see it pop out top of your screen. Chad LaRose on it for Carolina. Off a stick. Carried out by Winnipeg as they clear it to the center zone. Andrew Ladd now going wide of Thomas Caberlet. Laying it off for Blake Wheeler. Wheeler's tied up by Tim Brent. To the point it goes. Bogosian with a shot. Stopped by Ward. Loose. Fought for. They score! Andrew Ladd out in front. Battling with Nick Antropov as Cam Ward had it, then he lost it. And the Jets have a 2-1 lead.
Well, Winnipeg gets a favorable matchup on the road as they get their fourth line, Carolina's fourth line out against Winnipeg's big three. The big three of Antropov, Ladd, and Wellwood. You see Brent's on the ice, actually Chad LaRose, and also Brett Sutter. Just getting the puck through. And the replay tells you that the captain of Winnipeg just outmuscles Thomas Caberlet. Cam Ward can't find the puck to settle it. It all begins with just a simple wrist shot getting through.
Andrew Ladd now, as that shot goes wide off the stick of Brett Sutter, it goes out of play. Ladd has points in 5 consecutive games as the Jet captain scores his 8th goal of the season. Andrew Ladd getting it done. Jets 2, Hurricanes 1. Coming off a goal and an assist in Washington on Wednesday night, Andrew Ladd goes to the place they call the dark areas and gets it done.
Well, Bogosian gets it through, and Andrew Ladd reaches around Caberlet, is able to find the puck and eventually score. He lost 6 pounds in the last week fighting a flu bug. He went to Cam Ward's house actually for Thanksgiving last night. It's the first time that he's really had the appetite to eat. When you're playing the types of minutes that NHL hockey players do and you don't have an appetite, it's pretty remarkable he's still put together a point streak.
They will travel just about as many miles as anybody, obviously, in the league, being from Winnipeg and in the southeast, as that play is offside. The Florida Panthers, the Los Angeles Kings, I believe, are the only 2 teams that will travel more than Claude Noel's team. So I wonder if they're going to fight that a lot this season, that being a flu virus and going from the icy climate of Winnipeg into the south.
You're absolutely right, and I talked to Claude Noel about climate change this morning. And for instance, tomorrow when they play Boston, they're not going to fly home after the game. They're going to stay in Boston and come back on Sunday. And you know, it's a similar concept to when Carolina stayed in Edmonton after Game 6, coming back the next day for Game 7. And Claude says you can't practice as much with their schedule this year and develop as much as you'd like to, but they've thought long and hard about how to try to limit things like you talk about.
A lot of teams have done this trip as that play comes to a halt and a tripping penalty right off the face-off. So we'll get that first. And it will go here against Carolina. Jeff Skinner will take a seat.
Carolina penalty number 53, minor penalty for tripping.
Skinner was on the wing. You see him here. Yeah. He's trying to buy time for Justin Falk, and Winnipeg will get their first power play of the night.
Yeah, just to clean up that previous point, a team like Vancouver has a sleep coach. They've hired a full-time doctor that analyzes sleep habits. They did that a couple of seasons ago. Now, the Winnipeg Jets go to work on the power play. Almost set it. Now it goes to the open corner. Allen back on it, and it's cleared all the way out. Almost doesn't count, though.
I'm down by a touchdown right now. It's 7-0. But, you know, you look, say, Ottawa, who we'll see on Sunday, just came back after a game at the tail stage of the weekend in Vancouver, and they just now adjusted to getting back.
Evander Kane out in front, nobody home. Back to the point, Byfuglien. They'll try and isolate him with that big shot. Dustin Byfuglien out of the corner. Around the horn, Bogosian off a body off Brandon Sutter. Winnipeg's power play is tied for 10th best. Here's Bogosian sliding for Byfuglien. His shot stopped by Ward. Rebound out in front and melted down by number 30.
And just to finish my point on that, Ottawa had a great road trip through Calgary, through Edmonton, getting a point in Vancouver on Sunday night. And they're playing in Pittsburgh right now, and they're down 5-1. So that tells you a little something about how difficult it is to change time zones. I haven't had a chance, obviously, to watch that game. Cam Ward makes the save and holds on.
Winnipeg is tied for 19th on the road with their power play. Bogosian holding, shooting one, denied, stick saved by Ward. Loose along the boards, getting to it is Yuri Tolusti. He'll pop it out. The Canes are 19th on the kill, 21st at home. Carolina has killed off 10 out of 14 in the last 5. Winnipeg 6 out of 22 in the last 5. Here's Byfuglien losing his edge. He'll get it deep for Ladd. His goal has put the Jets ahead. Andrew Ladd back to the point. Byfuglien, they play catch. Ladd goes downstairs. Antropov. Here's Byfuglien shortening up on his stick. Bogosian a one-timer. Loose out in front. There for the taking. Fought for. Carolina survives as Tolusti gets it out.
That could be a key moment in this game. Remember, killing the turkey, the Winnipeg power play is one of our storm tracking keys. First fault and then jostling to deny a goal.
Andrew Ladd pickpocketed by Gleason. Here he comes out in front over the stick. Aerial pass. Brandon Sutter. Little backhand aerial flip with some sauce on it. Tough one for Sutter, and it comes all the way back.
Yeah, Gleason made a great play, and then I think that backhand just really came off his stick with a ton of loft, more than obviously Tim was expecting.
Well, the Canes get it done as Skinner returns. Here comes Sutter. Brandon Sutter holding onto it. Centering one. Forked wide by Dwyer, who is tied up by Mark Flood. Dwyer goes deep. Brandon Sutter out of the corner diagonally. McBain, a tip chance block. Dwyer has it out in front. It rolls around. It's knocked down by Vermeestrop. Cutting, sidestepping Dwyer and setting up Johnny Oduya. Closing the gap on him, Jeff Skinner to the open corner. Skinner diligently along the boards going down. Flood over the top of him. Now a chance out in front. Mason says no on Stahl. Delayed whistle. A penalty against Winnipeg.
Well, we could be seeing a stage in this game that we look back at as crucial. As Winnipeg has their first power play. Falk and Jocelyn, goal-saving plays. Wellwood, oh, he has great hands from in tight. First Falk, and then the desperation of Derek Jocelyn on Antropov. Otherwise, it's 2-0. Carolina gained a lot of energy. Eventually draws the tripping penalty as Flood's in the box, and will get their third power play of the night.
Third power play for Carolina. Two young defensemen, Falk on the right, Jocelyn on the left. Get a break. Carolina first unit out. Stahl, Route 2, and Skinner. Caberlet and McBain are back, and they will put Route 2 out in front as it comes all the way back for Jamie McBain. The Jets have Andrew Ladd, Brian Little, Mark Stewart, and Zach Bogosian on the ice to kill it off for Claude Noel. Eric Stahl broken up, flung back out by Zach Bogosian as it comes all the way back to Cam Ward. Ward now will handle it as we are just about halfway through the game. Winnipeg with a 2-1 lead. You're looking at Jamie McBain. He'll clear it in. Hard around it goes. Bogosian for Winnipeg. In back of the goal, Mark Stewart. This way, Brian Little. Circling back, angling off the boards by McBain, and again back in Canes ice.
That's twice here, the penalty killing of the Jets, denying entry. One time at the blue line, and then coming up with a dump into clear.
Canes get reorganized. Winnipeg, patient through the middle. Here's Skinner. Stewart from the back, from the front, Vermeestrop. Wheeling off the stick of Antropov. Winnipeg has 2 shorthanded goals this season. 1 scored on the road. Caberlet now wheels it back.
And this is something that will probably help Carolina on Sunday if Joni Pitkanen's back in the lineup, the way he can skate to gain entry.
Onakarovsky pickpocketed by Byfuglien. Jokinen gave it away. In control, Jim Slater. Off the boards, all the way back. Canes hear it from the crowd. Down to 37 seconds on the power play. It's brought out by Justin Falk. He'll quarterback through the middle, threaded deep behind Mason, getting to it. Ponikarovsky punched by Bufflin. At the point, Joslin. His shot tipped wide. This way, golfing one Slater, not out. Now LaRose. LaRose holding onto it. To the outside of Bufflin. Derek Joslin. This way, Justin Falk. It goes by Ponikarovsky off the side of the goal. Cleaned up by Johnny Oduya. And he'll move it out with 9 seconds left in the power play.
Isn't it amazing how quickly things can change? Derek Joslin goes from being a healthy extra to playing even strength and power play and kill here tonight.
Dwyer from the corner out in front. And now getting to it and carrying it out is Mark Flood. Flood out of the box with a wrister, punched out by Cam Ward, played by Yuri Tolusti. Canes 0 for 3 with the power play. 4 shots and 3 chances, but none on the last sequence as it comes all the way back. Gleason checked by Evander Kane, who has a goal tonight. Brandon Sutter through the middle. Brian Allen. Allen coming up on Flood, looking for Tolusti. Kulda got a stick to it. Allen goes deep, awaiting the pass. Patrick Dwyer left off for Tolusti. Yuri Tolusti. Here's Gleason. Point to point they go. Allen goes wide. A wrister blocked by Kulda. A loose puck as we see. Anthony Stewart after it. Sutter turns it off. Mason loose this way. Anthony Stewart chugs in. Stewart now moves it by Kulda. Grimes along the boards. Good job here. Anthony Stewart stood up by Arturs Kulda. Out of the corner now. Brett Sutter goes after it for Carolina. He succeeds. Inside for Stewart, blocked by Kulda. Hitting a hole is Tim Brent. Brent on a cycle, pulls up. Stewart skate the stick out in front. Off a body. Getting to it is Gleason. He was looking for the back door. Brett Sutter tries to center. Brent one more time for the Canes. They grind the cycle. 7:20 left, second period. Brett Sutter off the back of the goal. Almost walked it right out in front. Brett Sutter leaves it again for Anthony Stewart. Stewart to the outside. Caberlet. He'll dust it off. Hold on to it. High slot. Sutter is checked by Little, and the Jets will survive, and here they come. Blake Wheeler over the line, goes wide. Blake Wheeler pulls up. Moving on Caberlet, off his skate, carried to the outside by Tim Stapleton. Stapleton now holding on to it, looking in the slot to the point, Mark Stewart. Stewart a wrister, knocked down by Eric Fair. He turns, shoots one, stopped by Ward, loose out in front. It's loose and getting to it now, coming all the way back to Ruutu. Ruutu out to center ice, greeted by Mark Stewart. Ruutu goes down, and the Jets take over.
Boy, that was a great shift by Carolina's fourth line.
Cam Ward plays it off for Jeff Skinner. Getting a stick to it, Dustin Bufflin. They might be trapped. Here come the Canes. Skinner holding onto it. He'll throw the pass off a body off Tanner Glass, who is back checking nicely for Winnipeg. They send it all the way back. This is icing. We'll swing it back in the Jet zone. The next Carolina Ale House Cool Bars tour stop will be in Durham on December the 13th. The Canes are in Toronto, taking on the Maple Leafs at 7 o'clock. Log on to CarolinaHurricanes.com for more details.
That hard-working cycle shift by the fourth line. I don't think Anthony Stewart saw Gleason until the last second. He was wide open the right time to look for that back door.
Good job by that line, centered by Tim Brent. Now it's played by Mark Stewart. Burmistrov chips it out. Justin Falk there to play it. His team down by 1. Evander Kane, Andrew Ladd of the goals for Winnipeg. Yuri Tolusti scoring for Carolina. Just about 14 minutes have been played in the second period. Canes are in Ottawa on Sunday night. We'll start you off with Hurricanes Live at 4:30. Here's Skinner over the line with Stahl. Good poke check at the defense. Jim Slater back the other way. Rink wides for Alexander Burmistrov. He'll attempt to get it deep. He succeeds, and the Jets get a change. Cam Ward plays it off for Jeff Skinner. From his own zone, off a stick, he takes a hit from Slater as the puck deflects on a play. 5:40 left to go in the second period. Jimmy Slater working hard for Winnipeg. They lead it 2-1. Back inside the beautiful RBC Center. John Forslund, Trip Tracy, Bob Harwood with you. Mark Flood, Eric Stahl have a tie.
Well, they played together with the Peterborough Petes in the Ontario Hockey League. Became very close friends. As a matter of fact, John, Eric used to pick up Mark in his Pontiac Sunfire.
Nice.
Every day to go to practice. It was a stick shift Sunfire. And they became very, very close friends. You mentioned earlier in the broadcast that Flood was having a really good year, which is great to see with what he's persevered through. coming through the minors, playing very well.
He played in Manitoba for Claude Noel a season ago, so part of their management, and of course Mr. Noel knew of him and what he could bring as a depth guy, and started the year as that, but has played well since being recalled. Now, Justin Falk with a shot taken, blocked by Ladd. Loose this way. Jussi Jokinen goes deep. It's Jokinen, LaRose, and Ponikarovsky for Carolina. The juice now back of the goal. Jussi Jokinen holding onto it, away from Antropov. It goes deep for Ponikarovsky. Bottled up at the D. Played here by Johnny Oduya. Ponikarovsky stays with it. LaRose on the doorstep, punched wide by Jokinen. And Winnipeg again will survive. It's carried out by Kyle Wellwood, who scales it in on Cam Ward, and he hangs on.
What an effort by LaRose. Taking the hit to make the play. Takes this hit from Kulda, but still gets the puck to the front of the net for a good chance. Kulda's been good. Kulda was a healthy extra. Ron Hainsey coming back against Washington, gets back in the lineup. So two defensemen coming back in the lineup, one for each team. Jocelyn and Kulda, I think, have been strong.
We saw him a bit when he played for the Atlanta Thrashers a season ago. We've recalled a couple of times. Along the wall, Stewart for Winnipeg, battling here with Patrick Dwyer, back out to center ice. Brian Little goes ahead with it. 4:37 left in the second period. A quick up, McBain off the stick of Dwyer, and it comes back to Chris Mason. It goes by Dustin Byfuglien, Brandon Sutter to the point. Allen, now McBain, a wrister, blocked, it's loose. Sutter's after it, so is Kane for Winnipeg. And now the Jets recoil in the person of Mark Stewart. Turning with it, Evander Kane. Bumped on the play by Patrick Dwyer. Jamie McBain slides across for Brian Allen. The defense pairings all changed tonight because of the injury to Jay Harrison. Now going wide, Little, his shot off the side of the goal. Loose in back of the goal, they stay with it. To the point now, Kulda with a shot blocked by Dwyer. Arthurs Kulda back out to the center zone. He and Mark Flood play catch. Scaled ahead by Brian Little, wide of Cam Ward. Brian Allen back. Here's Evander Kane on the target. Good save by Ward. A surprising shot by Kane. Now Anthony Stewart over the line. This way, McBain shut down by Chris Mason. 3:38 left to go in the second period. Excellent line rush by the Hurricanes. Rotating the man, Anthony Stewart. Here's McBain. Good stop. We like to call it joining the fun. Defenseman knowing the right time to jump, join the play, and attempt to make it happen.
Doing it at the right time. Here's McBain. Stewart, great speed up the ice. And Jamie knows I can make this a 3-on-2 with my speed. Boy, good play there. Buying time by Anthony Stewart. And Chris Mason makes a very nice save. Head up from Stewart. Pass with a lot of velocity. Good play.
This line is Stahl, Anthony Stewart, and Tuomo Ruutu. Played off the wall. Golfed ahead by Tanner Glass, Derek Jocelyn, and Thomas Caberlet on defense for Carolina. Eric Stahl. Slap pass denied by Tanner Glass. Anthony Stewart attempts to bust in. Zach Bogosian scampers away from him, reverses off the referee, and it's gained by Johnny Oduya.
I said to you in our postgame show against Montreal that if you're Anthony Stewart who had played well, you have to be ready when your opportunity comes. And based on his play in the first half of the game, it looks like that opportunity is now.
Jocelyn engaged by Tanner Glass. You see the tie-up. Stahl tries to dig it out. He does. Eric Stahl on the wing. Ruutu moving it back. Caberlet will settle the puck down off a couple of sticks. Eric Stahl moves in, but Tuomo Ruutu on the near wing was offside. The Backyard Bistro is the place for Kane's Corner, hosted by Mike Maniscalco from 99.9 FM The Fan. The next one will be on Tuesday, December 20th, right across the street from the RBC Center. Listen in on 99.9 FM The Fan with our good friend Mike Maniscalco. We don't have the guest yet, but we're working on it. We got some time trip, December 20th for that one. Andrew Ladd now will go deep. Comes all the way back. Nick Antropov for Winnipeg, dug out by Andrew Ladd. Right now his goal's the difference. Antropov on a cycle. Nick Antropov holding onto it. Flushed out a bit by his former line mate, Alex Ponikarovsky. Now back of the goal. Here's Ladd out in front. Good save by Ward. Antropov to the point man, Dustin Byfuglien. It was a bouncing puck. He'll play it as we see in the center zone and wind it back in. 2:13 left in the second period. 2-1 Winnipeg. The second of 6 this season between these two teams. We're in Winnipeg on December 9th, and it should be sunny. Now LaRose with a shot over the top of Chris Mason. Loose this way. Getting to it, Andrew Ladd. Nice pass for Dustin Byfuglien, and away they go. Kyle Wellwood to the outside of Brian Allen as it goes deep.
That'll be sunny in Winnipeg, but if it's anything like their last home game last Saturday against the Philadelphia Flyers, it will be rather frigid.
Shiver my timbers. Now comes all the way back. Getting to it is Johnny Oduya.
There's a reason that a lot of players out of Manitoba end up playing defense, because in those conditions they have to walk backwards, so it's a natural transition to skate backwards as a defenseman.
That's right. Bogosian, the New York native. It goes off the stick of Eric Fair. Goes out of play with 1:22 left to go in the second period. We'll take a look at the stop on Andrew Ladd by Cam Ward, and Brian Boucher was injured as we have a developing situation.
And that puck hit Brian. Oh boy, I hope he's all right. Oh no. Oh man. No time for a goalie to react, especially when you're positioned like Brian is. You can't even see it coming because you're at the far end of the bench.
Wow.
I'll tell you, he's way at the far end on the left. Never could have seen that coming.
Ouch. Route 2 and back of the goal now. To the point. Caberlet with a shot tipped wide. Getting to it, Eric Stahl. Stahl drops it off for Jeff Skinner. Skinner wedged a bit by Bogosian. He stays with it, but he's pickpocketed by Eric Fair. Held in by Caberlet, turned it over. Here come the Jets. Through the middle of the ice and in. Brian Little lays it off. Fair with a shot. It goes wide. Off the end wall. Eric Fair goes after it. Broken up by Jeff Skinner. And back out to center ice, Eric Stahl. Moves it by Oduya. Getting to it is Evander Kane. 45 seconds left in period 2. Along the wall and out, Johnny Oduya at his side, Evander Kane. Kane over the line, goes wide with his speed. Evander Kane circles the wagons, off of Cam Ward. Cleaned up by Skinner out in front. Now at the point, wristed ahead by Jim Slater. Ward can't handle it. Glass in the corner with McBain. Vermistrov is there too for Winnipeg. He gets it from Tanner Glass. He'll dance away. Alexander Vermistrov lays it off for Dustin Byfuglien. Byfuglien comes calling, shielding a man in Skinner, holding onto it. Now he whips it all the way across for Vermistrov. He moves in for a shot off Allen. It goes high. Mark Stewart with a bit bouncing through. Broken up at the D. Played by Anthony Stewart. He'll wrist it all the way back. This will be icing, but it does not count because obviously the horn goes, and that'll do it here in the second period. Winnipeg gets the go-ahead goal by Andrew Ladd. The goaltenders faring well, but the Jet captain right now has the difference maker as they have a 2-1 lead over the Carolina Hurricanes. Shots are 26 for Winnipeg, 11 taken by the Carolina Hurricanes. It's the RBC Bank second intermission. Jamie McBain will be Bob Harwood's guest right after this.
Bank intermission report. Jamie McBain's our CarQuest Auto Parts intermission interview. Sometimes a lot of words get in the way, Jamie, but we want to talk to you about a decision you made to join the Rush. About 5 minutes left in the period when you guys are down 2-1. What conditions have to be there for you to make that choice?
It's kind of my read. Obviously, you gotta see where our third forward is, and one of the things is they don't want us driving the net because obviously then bad things happen if I'm driving the net. Forwards are trying to cover for me. That's something we don't want. So it's a read that I got to have. If I know we have numbers going up, and obviously I want to make that non-man rush to give us the best chance to score.
In simple terms, is it a sign of confidence coming back offensively for you?
Yeah, I mean I hope so. Obviously I was able to get a point out of our first goal, and something that I've kind of been snake bit with, getting some points on the board, so hopefully that helps me moving forward.
What's the first thing that comes to mind to any defenseman when you read the words, we're juggling things up on D because of injuries and all three pairings have changed tonight? What's the first thing you take a breath and look at?
It's just about keeping things simple. I mean, obviously, we got guys playing with different pairs and things, but overall, I think we know as a defensive core what our responsibilities are, and it just comes back to keeping things simple, talking it out, and good things happen.
Jamie, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Much more coming up here from RBC Center. A busy night in the NHL in terms of out-of-town scores, and families enjoying things here in the building so far. We'll catch up with the rest of the league after this. Eric.
Of this third period, a comeback is in order. We'll take a look at second period highlights. The Canes do tie it on this goal by Yuri Talusti.
Good job of getting the puck up the ice by McBain. Sutter gains the line. I thought Talusti did a fine job of generating speed while staying on sides. The puck just rolls off his tape, but I still think he was going to try to delay to create a good shooting lane off the post and in.
Winnipeg's captain, Andrew Ladd, down and dirty out in front.
Now Bogosian does a great job of getting the shot through, and Andrew Ladd just outmuscles Caberlet. Cam Ward looks like he's going to use his stick to smother it, and Ladd is able to tap it home. A good feed to the point by Antropov on the play.
Goal number 4 for Yuri Talusti. Goal number 8 for Andrew Ladd, who has points in 5 consecutive games. Cam Ward, some saves, and then an odd occurrence at the Cane bench.
Well, Winnipeg has 27 shots through 2 periods, so you can see they're playing their best hockey of the season, and Cam has done a good job to keep this a 1-goal hockey game going into the third. Good job blocking out on the rebound by his teammates. You know, you can just see Winnipeg's just throwing pucks to the net, getting bodies to the net. It's a pretty simple brand of hockey. And Boucher is at the far end of the bench here. There's no way he could have seen this coming, so he could have reacted to it. Very, very scary. He is not on the bench right now. We will try to get an update. And I believe Bob has it.
Yes, he does. Let's go down to Bob Harwood.
The last thing I asked Dave Lewis was whether or not we'd see Brian Boucher back tonight. He said he's going to stay in the room, and I do know that doctors are taking a look, guys, obviously, so there is some growing concern there, and certainly he'll be getting the treatment he needs. From the standpoint of generating chances, he says 19 to 20 missed shots are simply too much. We've had some tips go wide, we've had some guys turn down some chances. Just pump it on goal at this point.
We start this third period in high definition. John Forsland, Trip Tracy, and that was the voice of Bob Harwood, who is at ice level, along with our fine crew. We're in Ottawa Sunday night. Hurricanes Live will get you started at 4:30 back here on Tuesday. And the surprise of the entire National Hockey League, the Florida Panthers will be here. Along the wall, Derek Jocelyn, golfed ahead by Carolina's Jeff Skinner. Alexander Burmistrov now will tie him up. Skinner gets away. Over the line, he walks in. Hands on a chance. He was thwarted by Zach Bogosian, and the puck pops out to center.
Well, if there's ever a period where the Canes need an effort from the big line, Stahl, Skinner, and Ruutu, this is it.
Through the center zone, Nick Antropov this way for Kyle Wellwood. He'll clear it in. Cam Ward out to play it. He'll wrist it off the glass. Gained by Antropov. Wellwood goes deep, looking for Ladd. Broken up by Justin Falk. On the wall now, turning is Yuri Talusti. It pops out. Ladd, Wellwood, broken up by Talusti from behind, and getting to it is Brandon Sutter. Sutter now floats it off for Dwyer. Wedged ahead by Arturs Kulda, and it comes all the way back in the Cane zone. A good look at Justin Falk, taking a hit from Kyle Wellwood. A loose puck down the wall, Kulda with a pinch. Now Gleason headmans the puck for Sutter, and the Canes are away. Brandon Sutter floats it in on Chris Mason, a short hopper that he has control of, and no further play.
And just to update that situation, and we don't know a lot about Brian Boucher, there's a chance that he could be in the room and that he's okay. That's our hope. Even if he's okay, I would keep him in the room, but keep him dressed in the event he ever had to come into the hockey game. If he's hurt, and God forbid Cam Ward got hurt, Paul Maurice would have to designate a player to become the goaltender, and time would be allotted to put on the equipment.
That's right. Off the draw now. Wheeler hacks one out to center ice. Allen for Ponikarovsky. The Canes were offside. LaRose attempted to tag up, could not. 18:27 left in period 3.
You know, the team that Paul Maurice will see on Sunday in Canada's capital, Pascal Leclerc, you know, when he came over from Columbus to the Ottawa Senators, got hit sitting on the bench backing a game up and broke his nose. So it can be a very, very scary spot. How about Boucher, the toughness shown, getting himself to the dressing room like he did? I don't think we should overlook that.
Mark Stewart now will feed it in. Brian Allen moving it off for Jamie McBain. At the point, fanning on it, Mark Stewart. Ponikarovsky for Jokinen. Here they come. Jussi Jokinen, Ponikarovsky cutting. Mason makes the save. It's loose. Jokinen sends it high. Now LaRose out of the corner. Off a couple of sticks. Winnipeg survives. They get it out. Brian Allen back for Carolina. Just over 2 minutes gone in this third period. Allen now will start the breakout. Paul Maurice changing his lines. Eric Stahl. Tuomo Ruutu. Jeff Skinner come out. It goes past Chris Mason. Played by Johnny Oduya. Given a shove on the way through that time by Ruutu. Out of the corner now. Tim Stapleton. Played by Tim Gleason. Given a problem by Eric Fair. Now Stapleton is away. Tim Stapleton over the line. The trailer is Tanner Glass. Good play by Justin Folk on him. Now Tuomo Ruutu for the Canes. On the wing, Skinner can't handle it. Zach Bogosian goes deep. Behind Cam Ward with it. Overskated by Justin Folk. Out of the corner now. Wheeled back to the point by Burmistrov. Bogosian across now. Oduya with a shot off a body. Off of Tuomo Ruutu. A pair of 15s, he and Tanner Glass. They scrum in the corner. It's loose as we see. Falk is after it. Glass. Short-sider covered up after stopping it by Cam Ward.
Good reactions by the Hurricanes there. Stahl lost it, or Gleason lost his stick. Gave it, did the captain to Gleason, and then Stahl got a new one. Let's take a look at Jussi Jokinen's chance here. And this puck just got away from Jussi. Good job of driving the net by the Hurricanes. And you don't see Jussi miss like this very often. That puck may have been on its end.
It had to be. I mean, he missed the net by a long way as it comes back out to center ice. At the line, moved off by Ladd. It goes deep. McBain ahead of Kyle Wellwood. Andrew Ladd digs it out. Back to the point. Here's Mark Flood. Looking for a tip, none available. Loose and back of Ward, getting to it, McBain. Jamie McBain up the gut off the stick of Brandon Sutter. Back out to neutral ice. Mark Flood. Paired on defense with Arturs Kulda, who clears it in. Off a glass support, loose this way for Toulouse. Shoved back for the defense. Allen. A tough pass there. Now it's Flood. Inside it goes. In back of Ward one more time. Dwyer's after it. He moves it by a pinching Kulda, and you see it come all the way back.
Now you can see Winnipeg with their forechecking. The Canes have been reduced to wraparounds and not being able to make that clean pass that not only breaks the puck out, but does so with speed.
Derek Choslin. Nice pass here. Tim Brent. Here come the Canes out to center ice. Brett Sutter's pass detected by Dustin Byfuglien. They turn it back. Brian Little over the line, cuts, pulls up, shoots one. Through the goal mouth, loose this way, Byfuglien. A wrister looking for a tip, it didn't work. Wheeler out in front. Mark Stewart, Blake Wheeler. Wheeler to the outside of Choslin. Holding onto it this way, it's Dustin Byfuglien. Snappy pass, he couldn't handle it. Now he clears it deep. Cam Ward out to play it. Winnipeg changing on the fly. Thomas Caberlet back for Carolina. Through the center zone, moving it off for Jussi Jokinen, caught by Chris Mason. He'll hang on. The Hurricanes and Kangaroo Express have teamed up to offer discounted tickets to weekend games. Fans can save up to 67% for all Friday, Saturday, and Sunday games. Visit your local Kangaroo Express ATM and pick up a voucher good for any of the next 4 weekend games. You can also log on to CarolinaHurricanes.com for more details.
Key face-off here for Jokinen. He's been pretty good in these draws that you would denote as timely. Now that's tough for Mason. He gets hurt in that game in Philadelphia because he came off the bench in that 9-8 game.
Yeah.
You know, when you come off the bench, the chance of a groin injury obviously is heightened.
At 35, even more so. Now it's cleared out to center ice. Justin Falk. Zach Bogosian now. Good-looking young defenseman goes D to D. Johnny Oduya through the middle now. It's Jim Slater. He'll clear it behind Cam Ward. Loose again this way. Pona Karofsky's back for Carolina. Peppered by Burmistrov. Gleason hands it off. Justin Falk now will hinge out to center ice. The young defenseman over the line. Broken up by Antropov. And the Jets will turn it back. Here's Nick Antropov. Giving it back intended for Burmistrov, and now Falk again for Carolina.
Falk did a good job of getting back in the play. Had a good hit on Stapleton earlier in this period.
Winnipeg now dropping back in a defensive posture. Stahl through the middle at speed. Sweep check by Antropov. Here come the Jets. Wellwood's in the transition. He drops it back for Antropov, and now it's played here by Ruutu, who clears it out. Mark Stewart off the body. Andrew Ladd now back in the center zone. They turn it back again. Over the line, Ladd. The trailer, Wellwood. Give and go for Ladd. Cutting. Holding on to it this way, it's Antropov. To the point. Byfuglien, a one-timer tipped high, I believe, by Wellwood. and it goes out of play.
Justin Falk did a really good job here to limit this opportunity on the turnover. Watch him here on Wellwood. A player you do not want one-on-one with your goaltender. And Kyle Wellwood, he doesn't have great speed. His assets are his hands and his creativity, but I think Justin Falk really did a job there.
Tonight with a shot, almost 17 minutes. You see what he has done so far in the last 4. But you're right about Wellwood. He needs space. You take his space away, you got him. But he's crafty with those hands. And boy, they turn the puck back quickly. McBain's shot caught by Mason. We get a stoppage. Bring the whole family down to see the Canes on Family Night, December 26th against the Devils, December 29th against Toronto. 4 tickets start at $39. $1 hot dogs for everybody in attendance. Get your tickets by calling 800-745-3000 or go to Ticketmaster.com.
Dave Lewis sends out Caberlet and Jocelyn, I think, because of an offensive zone faceoff, trying to create something, but you've got to win the draw.
Flood now for Eric Fair. Through the middle of the ice. Derek Jocelyn back to play it. On the wing, intended for Patrick Dwyer. On the gallop, it's Brandon Sutter forcing Mark Flood. Dug out by Toulouse, broken up by Little, gained again by Sutter. Mark Flood has it for Winnipeg. Along the wall, Eric Fair. Pinching down was Caberlet. Flood hands it off for Kulda. Kulda out of the corner. Has a tough time with it. He'll send it back in a reverse. Here's Fair. Eric Fair out to center ice. Baseball batted in by Jocelyn and gained again by Kulda. Through the middle, Toulouse cut it off. Carolina changing as Anthony Stewart gets it deep.
You know, one thing watching the practices down low yesterday with the stanchions back in the glass to protect the players, every dump in, I would throw it off the glass because anything can happen in the form of a good bounce.
That's why the road team loves to practice when they can in the game rink. To learn those nuances, now it's free to the corner. Thorburn. Chris Thorburn on a cycle. This way, Bogosian holding. Slap pass off the end wall, handled by Ward. Wheeler's chance, handled by Ward. Smart choice by Bogosian, just hammering it off the vibrant boards. Now Stapleton moves it wide to the point. Johnny Oduya faking, loading the gun. He got underneath it. Loose and back of the goal. Wheeler's after it. Fished out by Justin Falk. Here's Anthony Stewart sidestepping Chris Thorburn. He'll play it off the boards, back out through center, and the Jets recoil.
That's a good hockey sense play by Stewart. Not to just ram it up the boards, but to turn back and buy a little time.
Puck is fed in. Jim Slater after it for Winnipeg. Derek Jocelyn moving at him. Andrew Ladd cut off by Wellwood. Now Kyle Wellwood over the line, broken up by Jocelyn and Jokinen, who sets up Caberlet. Thomas Caberlet through the middle, detected by Antropov. Now it's Andrew Ladd, hit hard by Derek Jocelyn. It comes all the way back for Jokinen, again off of the aforementioned Jocelyn, who has it. He'll circle, play it along the boards. Caberlet did not have his feet moving. Winnipeg's on it. Wellwood peppered by Ponokarovsky. Good back check. Here come the Canes out to center ice. You're looking at Chad LaRose over the line. Drop pass, Caberlet, well wide. Then back out to center ice.
Well, Ponokarovsky would have been the key cog in that wheel. Just a good, hard-working, back-checking play. And the Canes have missed the net dating back the last couple of games. Just too many times with grade A chances.
Now from the zone, Caberlet gave it away to Burmistrov. And he'll get it deep. To the corner it goes. McBain is back to play it. Moving down is Brian Allen, pestered by Burmistrov. Eric Stahl has control. Out he comes, 2-on-3. Stahl over the line, Skinner the trailer. Holding onto it all the way across to an open wing. Wilmorutu is there. Good coverage by Winnipeg. And out they come. Here's Johnny Oduya. Over the line, on the wing, broken up by McBain. Transition time for Carolina. Stahl for Rutu. Tuomo-Rutu looking for Skinner, broken up by Bogosian. Hammered by Falk wide of Mason. This way it's Skinner. Jeff Skinner out in front, tipped right on. Mason the save, and it's cleared by Bogosian. Back out to center ice. Tanner Glass takes a hack from Brian Allen and gets it deep.
Bogosian is a significantly better defenseman. I think he's proving the adage that it takes the longest for defensemen to mature.
Skinner drops it off, a loose puck, and the Jets are on it. Here's Evander Kane on Justin Falk. Kane takes a shot at it, he goes deep, Caberlet for Falk, pressured on the forecheck. Evander Kane has it, his pass detected by Brandon Sutter, and you see it come all the way back. Kulda off a skate of Dwyer. Over the red line with it is Evander Kane, and he'll go deep. We're halfway through period 3. Brandon Sutter back to play it. He'll drop it off for Jamie McBain. A quick change by Claude Noel's team. Brandon Sutter through neutral ice away from Thorburn. Over the line, he's in for a shot blocked by Mark Stewart. Played by Dustin Bufflin back out to neutral ice. Here's McBain. Detected by Eric Fair. Tim Stapleton's in. His shot rockets off McBain, and it goes out of play. 9:44 left to go in this third period. Winnipeg 2, Carolina 1. We bring you back inside the RBC Center thanks to Nickelback, who performed yesterday at Ford Field. Halftime as the Detroit Lions had a great opportunity trip.
Yeah, well, it just goes to show turnovers will kill any team. By the way, speaking of lines turning over, we see the Skin and Fins back together, so the juggling continues.
2-1 Winnipeg. 9:30 left to go in this third period. It comes all the way back. Cam Ward leaves it for Justin Falk. Eric Fair with a shot kicked out with a purpose by Ward, played by Jeff Skinner. A late feed intended for Tuomo Ruutu, who's upended. And a penalty is called on Mark Stewart by Rob Martel.
We'll have to take a look at this one. This just goes to show when you have speed, changing lanes can lead to potentially a good break. I'm not sure Stewart was anything other than in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Number 5, minor penalty for interference.
Oh no, that's a good look from the truck. You know, and you can see as that puck is indirected off the boards by Skinner that he impeded the progress of Ruutu, and Ruutu did a good job propelling forward.
Okay, fourth power play here for Carolina. 9:15 left in regulation time. Bogosian has it. He'll walk it out through center, salt away a bit of time and get it deep. Carolina has Justin Falk and Thomas Caberlet, who has the puck on the points. Eric Stahl, Jussi Jokinen, Jeff Skinner up front. Jokinen over the line, it goes deep. To the corner now, Oduya for Winnipeg. Stahl knocked down by Slater. Play continues. Zach Bogosian's on it. He'll wait and clear it all the way down past Cam Ward.
Well, with the other power play unit really having had the most success, it'll be interesting to see how this 2-minute span is divvied up.
Justin Falk. Entry pass for Eric Stahl, broken up by Antropov and Flood. Oduya forechecked by Jokinen. Vermistrov off a body, off Caberlet, covered up by Jokinen, detected by Antropov, who has it. Through the middle now, it's Alexander Vermistrov. Over the line, shifting gears, trying to make a move here on Justin Falk out of the corner. Vermistrov stays with it, stopping and starting. He's hit by Caberlet, and now Falk has control.
How many good neutral zone stick plays has Antropov made in this period? A guy that does not skate well, but he's made up for it. I mean, I think he's caused 3 turnovers with his stick, including that one at his own blue line.
Canes are down to 42 seconds with a power play. Joslin now will clear it in. Ruutu. They flood this side. Ponikarovsky holding. Alexei Ponikarovsky back to the point. Derek Joslin going wide. McBain. Up top, Joslin again, looking for a lane. Here's Ponikarovsky. His shot blocked by Bogosian, and it's carried out by Andrew Ladd. With Bogosian, it's a 2-on-1. Ladd holding, delaying. His shot goes wide of Ward, and you see it careen out to center ice. 15 seconds left in the power play. Brian Little has it for Winnipeg. He'll float it ahead.
I think Bogosian might be the first star of this hockey game. Key block there, and then jumps in with his speed to make it a 2-on-1.
McBain will feed it hard around. Bufflin mishit it. Tuomo Ruutu has it for Carolina, broken up by Tanner Glass. Stewart's out of the box. That's Mark Stewart. Even terms on the ice. Stewart takes a run at Chad LaRose and gets off quickly. Otherwise, they almost had too many men out there. 7:03 left to go, regulation time. 2-1 Winnipeg. Carolina 0 for 4 in the power play. No shots in the last 2 power plays as play comes to a halt. 6:55 left to go in this third period. And the Canes down by 1 at home. It was a down and dirty goal. That is the difference right now. You see his ice time leading the way. The Jet captain Yuri Tolusti scored after stopping on a dime, which gave Carolina a breath of life in the second period. But the Hurricane power play just had a chance. They've come up empty-handed in 4 chances so far tonight.
Well, and their first 2 chances in the first period, they actually had a lot of opportunities, but then I thought Winnipeg really has done a job denying, for the most part, entries, whether it be on dump-ins or skating over the line to get the puck.
Still time left, 6:39. Caberlet shot kicked out by Chris Mason. Played again along the boards. Blake Wheeler's after it for Winnipeg. It comes all the way back. Derek Joslin looking over his shoulder, playing in the place of the injured Jay Harrison. Joni Pikkinen remains out for Carolina, but could play on Sunday in Ottawa. Now it's Anthony Stewart going deep. Back to play it is Mark Stewart. You see it up close out of the corner now as Toulouse was on the forecheck for Carolina. Here's Eric Stahl for Anthony Stewart. The return feed finding the captain. Stahl cuts, lays it off by Toulouse. His stick was lifted on the back check by Brian Little. Now they go to the top of your screen with it. It's Burmistrov, and Winnipeg will survive.
What a play by Little. I mean, in the garden spot, an illegal one.
Here's Gleason busting in off the paddle of Mason. Andrew Ladd tries to clear, punished a bit by Ponikarovsky. Inside for Chad LaRose. LaRose grinds the cycle. Holding onto it, he turns. Lays it down deep for Stahl. Stahl and Bogosian through the goal mouth looking for LaRose. Back it comes for Gleason. His shot tipped right on. Mason said no. Loose in the corner. Bufflin turned over. Gleason lays it ahead. Carolina's Ponikarovsky off a skate. And now Andrew Ladd has it. It's a bouncing puck though. Winning the battle. Chad LaRose inside for Stahl. Stahl holding onto it, playing it off the wall. Stahl tries to center one. Loose this way, getting to it. LaRose. One-timer. Caberlet goes wide. Off a stick off Ponikarovsky. Moving up McBain. Ponikarovsky out of the corner, turns. Knocked down by Bufflin. Inside for Stahl again. Bogosian's after it. He'll play it along the wall. A pinch by Caberlet. Doesn't work. And it comes out to neutral ice.
Well, you got to get it up quick here because Winnipeg is scrambling to get off.
5 minutes flat left in regulation time. Johnny Oduya crunched by Tuomo Ruutu. Hit hard. Jokinen tries to center. Now it's Tanner Glass. Off a stick cut off by Skinner. Here they come, but it's broken up again by Bogosian. Back out to center. With it is McBain. On the wing, Jokinen. He'll tap it ahead. Antropov is back. Skinner there for Carolina. Ruutu on the forecheck. They battle him back of the goal. Johnny Oduya holding onto it, reversing nicely for Zach Bogosian. Reading the play, Thomas Caberlet. Moving it by Ruutu. Getting to it is Johnny Oduya. Oduya now for Winnipeg out to center ice. Here's Tanner Glass, and he'll chip it ahead. Glass goes after it now, and Caberlet is back for Carolina. McBain holds onto it. 4:15 left in this third period. Here's Anthony Stewart. Chip and chase knocked down by Mark Flood. Legally gloved ahead for Blake Wheeler. Wheeler who gloves it back out to center ice. And now the Canes take over again. Joslin moving it by Anthony Stewart. And getting to it is Chris Mason. The goaltender will play it himself. Move it off. Coming down is Wheeler. Getting help from Mark Stewart. Mark Flood after it for Winnipeg. Along the wall goes by Evander Kane. Out to neutral ice.
And Dwyer not playing on the line with Sutter and Toulouse. Stewart filling in.
Brandon Sutter knocked down by Wheeler. Maybe a chance. Joslin goes wide with it. LaRose is on it for Carolina. He takes a hit from Slater. Ponikarovsky. Nobody home out in front. Broken up, cleared out here, and good speed by Evander Kane, who gets it deep. Kane goes after it in the corner. Hit by Gleason. Slater now with a driftwood on the ice. The broken stick back to the point. Punched ahead by Oduya. A loose puck now along the boards. Evander Kane tries to go underneath Tim Gleason. I'm sorry, that's Burmistrov who did that, and now getting to it is Ponikarovsky. He'll clear it back out to neutral ice. Eric Stahl for Carolina, shadowed by Burmistrov. And now the Jets in control. 17 minutes gone in this third period. Dustin Bufflin on the wing, taking a swat at it, going off in a change. Tanner Glass. Cam Ward this way, turning, Caberlet. Errant pass, broken up by Ladd, right back in the zone.
Well, I just think that Winnipeg has done a job stacking up in the neutral zone for the most part here in the third period. It's been tough for Carolina to come up the ice.
Justin Folk will clear it ahead. 2:35 on the clock. Carolina down by 1. Mark Stewart from the corner, looking for Ladd. Broken up, Andrew Ladd, who's been solid tonight. Through the center zone, Caberlet now for Carolina. Quick up. Jussi Jokinen moves it by Zach Bogosian. Winnipeg goes to Boston tomorrow night, and they will take on the Boston Bruins, and Carolina will see Ottawa on Sunday. Now McBain going deep. Jokinen crunch, centered out in front. Loose puck bouncing around. Caberlet has it. To the outside he goes. Thomas Caberlet holding on to it. Looks to make it happen. He centers one off a stick. Forked wide by the defenseman, Mark Stewart. Here's Skinner. Skinner to the outside. Across. Off the side of the goal. Caberlet had an empty net. He missed. And now it's cleared. It goes by McBain and all the way back.
Well, we see Caberlet in the last couple of minutes trying to atone from being out-muscled by Ladd on the go-ahead goal, and everybody in the building and whoever's running the horn thought that was in.
Yeah, the horn shouldn't happen. Now to the corner. Slater on it. He'll try and move it ahead. Ward's gone. 6 skaters out. About 27 on the clock. McBain with a bid. Swallowed by Chris Mason.
Well, we saw the work-in-progress side of Caberlet in the second period when he was out-muscled in front, but he has been really good jumping into the play with his pinches. Here going for the back door. What a feed by Skinner. How he sees him. Oh, what a pass. Obviously, that would be a much easier finish if Caberlet was a right, not a left shot. But still, and you can see it all over his face, he would finish the majority of the time, and you see that maybe fatigue was a factor in not being able to deposit that in the back of the net.
Well, Paul Maurice now, as we take a look at a graphic here that depicts what Dave Lewis told Bob Harwood about at the end of the second period. Missed opportunities. That's been a huge story tonight for the Hurricanes. 27 missed shots.
Well, can I just talk about a microcosm? Caberlet, who I think has really done a nice job of jumping in both in zone and on the rusher in the third period. Ponikarovsky made a defensive play earlier that led to Thomas with a great chance. Slap shot misses the net, and there obviously he isn't able to find the target. And those are very frustrating, and I think they're typical, though, when a team is in a rut. Maybe guys holding their sticks just a little bit tighter than they otherwise would.
They put Caberlet back on the ice to join Brandon Sutter, Eric Stahl, Jeff Skinner, UC Jokinen, and Justin Falk. The net has been vacated by Cam Ward. 1:23 left, third period, 2-1 game. Winnipeg on top. Here's Caberlet. Falk, one-timer, wide, looking for a tip. Stewart back for Winnipeg. Burmistrov will shovel it out through center ice. 69 seconds left here in regulation time. Jokinen chips it ahead. It rolls in on Mason. He'll leave it for Mark Stewart. Off the glass and out. Face-off will occur in the Winnipeg zone.
I'm surprised that Mason decided to play that puck instead of taking the face-off. He's been good, but he has gotten efforts in front of him. The Jets have played a very good road game. A very well executed play on the last face-off. Falk had a one-timer. This is all about Jokinen winning the draw to Skinner, and then Skinner decided to go to the net or utilize Falk or Caberlet.
Face-offs dead even, as we saw. Jokinen, Little on this one. Jokinen wins it. Skinner with a shot blocked. He gets it back. Mason makes a stick save. Out of the corner, Jokinen. Now Tuomo Ruutu. Inside it goes off the stick of Stahl. Andrew Ladd has control. He'll dump it out. It rolls all the way back in the Kane zone. 43 seconds left in regulation time. Justin Falk, headmans for Stahl. It goes deep. The captain's after it. Stahl broken up by Mark Stewart. Along the wall, Jokinen. His pass detected. Ladd had it. Now it's Brian Little with an open net. His shot goes wide. No icing. A chance down low for Ladd off the stick off Falk. 22 seconds on the clock. Here come the Hurricanes. It goes by Stahl. It's played by Chris Mason. He'll leave it for Zach Bogosian, who alertly reverses the puck out. Brian Little has a chance. He's thwarted. He stays with it. It's over. Brian Little. 9 seconds on the clock. 3-1. Winnipeg.
Well, the initial chance, Jokinen won the draw, and Skinner tried to fire it at the net. The first chance was blocked. The second one, Mason makes a key stop, but it was one and done. I think Winnipeg, starting with a guy that's about to just tap Chris Mason, Zach Bogosian, and his teammates have blocked shots with a purpose as Carolina has come on late. And the initial empty net try, Justin Falk a great job of getting back to not make it 3-1 at that point. Winnipeg is a vastly better team than when we saw them in October.
Brian Little from Zach Bogosian, and the goaltender Chris Mason gets an assist and a big hug from Mr. Bogosian as the Winnipeg Jets get it done tonight and defeat Carolina by a count of 3-1. Our next telecast will be on Sunday night from Canada's capital as the Canes take on the Ottawa Senators on the Dad's Weekend. We kick it off with Hurricanes Live at 4:30. Stick around, Hurricanes Live, the post-game edition from the RBC Center right after this on Fox Sports Carolinas.